Do you guys remember last summer when Trump made up that crazy conspiracy about the social justice protesters? Remember that? This one right here? This conspiracy that he spread?
And then they have cans of soup. Soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family.
Cans of soup. He said that. That's how he's trying to slander these just innocent social justice protesters. Remember that? And this is how MSNBC treated him when he said that.
Trump stokes fear with bizarre stories about mysterious people on a plane emerging from the dark shadows, preying on the defenseless masses with bags of soup.
Whoa, cans of soup, thugs on airplanes wearing black uniforms, people you've never heard of who were in the dark shadows. It's all from our president. He's just got these ideas.
He's just got these ideas. Thankfully, we have MSNBC and these media hacks to tell us what is right and wrong about Trump and his conspiracies. But here is Trump's conspiracy now in April.
Tiger, you have been out here. Have you been out here the last couple of days?
Yeah. Well, I've been here all 4 nights. I'm just standing here today with soup for my family.
Soup for my family.
And we're just, watching all of this unfold. It's very unfortunate.
You're not planning on using that, are you? Throwing it at the police?
Like I said, it's for my family.
Literally for your family.
Yeah.
All right.
Soup for my family.
I'm Tyler Zed. Welcome to Zeducation. Welcome to my channel, and welcome to another SJW episode, where here on this series, we document this hysteria and this insanity and these lies pushed by places like MSNBC. Divide and conquer. That is the name of the game. Dividing people specifically by skin color, by gender, by sexual orientation. It is the best way to emotionally charge people, best way to manipulate them and get them to vote the way you want and get them to do what you want. And that's what we are seeing with these groups that go to these protests. People like Maxine Waters, who manipulate people like this. And people like the media, who ignore this. They ignore this behavior that instigates and tries to fuel and ramp up these incidents and make them worse than they are. And then when we have someone like Trump who called this out, he got made fun of. He got called a conspiracy theorist. He got called a liar. Well, clearly he was not lying about the cans of soup thing. There are instigators at these protests, and they are trying to incite this and make it bigger than it should be. And on today's episode, as usual with these episodes in this SJW series, we're going to take a look at how social justice shows its face in the mainstream media and all these other examples in our culture today, and how people detach themselves from logic and reason, and they latch on to these ideas and they push the hysteria and the madness. And as always with this series, if you cringe, you win. It means your brain is working. It means you know that this behavior doesn't unite anyone. It doesn't solve any problems or any issues. It is insanity. So again, if you cringe, you win. Before we start today's episode, as always, if you want to support this channel, the best way you can do that is go down, like this video, comment below, and make sure you are subscribed and have the bell clicked for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Now, on to the SJW madness in our culture today. Whiteness is a pandemic. Whiteness is a pandemic, guys. This is so uniting. It's so healing. It's bringing people together. Whiteness is so bad. If you're white, you're part of the problem. It's a pandemic. You're part of the pandemic, guys.
Just a reminder that whiteness can still be the culprit, even if a hate crime is committed by another minority. White supremacy has many mouthpieces. Don't underestimate that.
That's right. Even if the hate crime is committed by somebody who does not have a certain skin color, it is always whiteness. Whiteness is to blame, guys. It shows its face in many forms. She's doing God's work on TikTok. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord for this message out there. This very uniting message.
You know, I've told my daughters, granddaughters from the time they were old enough to understand what I was saying, and I mean it. There's not a single thing a man can do that a woman can't do as well or better. Not a single thing.
Not a single thing. Thankfully, we have the SJW movements all the way at the top now, in the presidency. This is where the SJW madness comes from, the top down. But like he said, not a single thing. So that brings me to my next one. Why is LeBron James making $37 million a year versus Sue Bird, who is making $215,000 a year. Look at them. Wow. 17 seasons, 4 championships each. And LeBron James is paid that much more. You know, Joe Biden, I'm going to need you to make this equal pay thing work out here, because there's not a single thing. They're exactly the same. There's no difference whatsoever in these two individuals. They need to be paid the same. So why aren't you doing anything, Joe? I just can't believe this. Wow. Oakland to give $500 checks to low-income families, but not if they're whites. That's what's happening in Oakland. That's right. Socioeconomic status has nothing to do. And the only thing that matters is skin color being pushed by the leaders of this country. The mayor of Oakland, another one of them. The racist roots of fighting obesity. Prescribing weight loss to black women ignores barriers to their health. That's right. Diets are also racist. Diets are part of the problem, guys. You know what else is racist? Band-Aids.
White privilege. Think about it. Whose flesh tone is this? I have brown Band-Aids in my classroom. I had to special order them. They're twice as much as these, and they're hard to find, and they're frequently out of stock. But when I hand a brown child a white Band-Aid, I am literally adding insult to injury, and I refuse to do that in my classroom.
I just want to say that Band-Aid right there definitely sticks out on your skin. It doesn't match your skin tone either. And let's test this out on me. There's a regular Band-Aid. That's the generic color that it comes in, the generic brand at the store. So let's test this out here. Look at that, invisible on me. It's made for me. People like me. Can you believe that? Totally invisible. Skin tone, yeah. Wow. That's my white privilege. I did not know that. Wow. Holy crap. Black people were struck and killed by drivers at an 82% higher rate than whites. For American Indian and Alaska Native people, that disparity climbs to 221%. This is because streets were designed to get suburban drivers through black and brown neighborhoods as fast as possible. Streets, pavement, asphalt, roads are racist. The difference between yams and sweet potatoes is structural racism. The confusion goes all the way back to the transatlantic slave trade. Yams, potatoes are racist. Yep. How toxic masculinity helped kill George Floyd. Don't forget the toxic masculinity in our culture. That is why George Floyd died. It wasn't even a racial thing. It was toxic masculinity, the patriarchy. Down with it. From Jay, blue checkmark. Please stop putting people behind white. Let's start dehumanizing that species. Animals, perhaps? That's insulting to animals. Wow, so tolerant. From the blue checkmarks on Twitter. Pretty sure that guy's an actor, too. Wow, that is so tolerant. Same person about a month later says racism is never okay. Heart, but what you said before, what was allowed on Twitter, what is that? Since coming out, my take on puberty is offer kids puberty blockers by default until they're ready to choose which puberty they want to have. Then give them hormonal replacement therapy if they need it. There's literally no other humane way, and if you're a parent and you don't do this, F you. Put every kid on puberty blockers. Take it from her. That's her solution. That's what she wants to do. I mean, he, she, they, them. I don't know. I don't know today. Reminder, when a man tells you a woman is crazy, there's something she knows about him that he doesn't want you to believe. There are no exceptions to this rule. You know, I have to not be sarcastic on this one. Some people, some women, they're just crazy. That's true. That's a fact. Actually, you're wrong, blue check mark. Some guys are crazy too, you know? There's a lot of crazy people of all kinds out there, all right?
I want black men to stop internalizing white dreams and desires. I want y'all to stop thinking investing in stocks is going to get y'all anywhere.
The stock market, that's racist too. Put it on the list. Is it okay to use black emojis and GIFs? BBC News. This is a form of cultural appropriation. That's BBC. That's BBC putting this out there into the world. That's the top down. This is one of the biggest news organizations in the world. This is where this hysteria comes from. Kids cartoon, Bluey, criticized for not having disabled, queer, poor, gender diverse, or dogs of color, prompting important debate. That's a real article. David from Highland asks if it's racist that the Utah Jazz excludes white children from the team's scholarship program. Answer. It's not racist. Ryan Smith and the Jazz can do what they want with their funds. All kids should have equal opportunities And we're proud of that. All kids should have equal opportunities, but they're only giving out scholarships to one group. That's not all. That's very hypocritical, a little bit ironic, Utah Jazz. Language matters. Including pronouns is a first step towards respecting people's identities. So brave of the Carolina Hurricanes. Oh, just a round of applause for the Canes there, pushing social justice on their Twitter accounts. Carolina Hurricanes fans, this is your hockey team. This is what they're doing. Using their platform, abusing their platform as a sports and entertainment team to jam this down your throats. Minnesota Theater cancels its own Cinderella production because cast was too whites. Senators Duckworth, Hirono to vote no on non-diversity nominees until Biden commits to AAPI picks. Elected officials now pushing this. Again, this is where this hysteria comes from the people at the top, the media. Our politicians, Joe Biden himself. Cookbook author suggests adding potato chips to recipes to avoid fat phobia. If you don't add potato chips, if you don't eat potato chips, if you promote healthy living, that's fat phobic. Don't do that. House by house, block by block, Minnesotans are digging into the history of their homes and reckoning with that legacy of discrimination that they find via racial covenants. The smug happiness of not really doing anything to change anything except make themselves feel good. Congrats, guys. Congrats. Racism is physically built into America's highways, according to Pete Buttigieg. Another official high up in the government saying that highways, roads are racist. For years, the West has relied on so-called chop suey fonts to communicate Asianness on food packaging, posters, and ad campaigns. But such fonts perpetuate problematic stereotypes. Fonts are racist. This is the same CNN that put a picture of a Korean golfer on the front page of their website, but it was the wrong Asian golfer. This is how anti-racist CNN is. Bunnies have lots of sex and we still think they're cute and pure. Let's treat women the same way. Next.
Don't use the term mistress for a woman who is in a long-term sexual relationship with and is financially supported by a man who is married to someone else. Instead, use an alternative like companion, friend, or lover on first reference and provide additional details later.
AP. Oh, AP joining the SJW movement with their language. Some language is just not okay. Don't say mistress. Don't demean her. Don't demean him. Okay, you can probably demean him, but just don't demean her, all right? You can't be anti-racist if you're anti-student debt cancellation. Another thing that is racist that you probably didn't think was racist, student debt. If you don't support canceling student debt, you're racist. Take it from an elected official. Death to America. In Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. Wow, that's pretty sad. Pretty sad. That's happening right now here in Minnesota. The KKK. Your skin color tells me all I need to know. Once I know your color, I know exactly what to think of you and how to treat you. Woke. Your skin color tells me all I need to know. Once I know your color, I know exactly what to think of you and how to treat you. Social justice perfectly laid out in a tweet. That's exactly what this is. These social justice movements, they're not about bringing people together. They're not about justice. They're not about any of that. All of this clearly pushed by elected officials, by the media. It is a way to divide us, play identity politics, and try to manipulate certain groups of people. The more we're divided, the better for them. The easier it is to get us to do what they want. It is specifically vote how they want. And again, this is from the top down. These are from places like AP, BBC News, Pete Buttigieg, Joe Biden, all of these people with a lot of power, with a lot of responsibility. And they are abusing that responsibility by jamming this garbage down our throats. It's time to walk away from this stuff. Stop listening to these people. Stop taking them seriously. They do not care about us. Let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think about this social justice culture that we're in? This hysteria, this detachment from logic and reason. Let me know in the comments. While you're down there, please like this video. Please help me get it recommended to others. That's it for today's video. Until next time, I'm Tyler Zed, and this is Zeducation.
Idiots.